We hear so much about physician burnout, and it's a huge deal. But honestly, focusing only on the problem can feel, well, pretty hopeless. So today, we're going to flip the script. We're going to look at what actually works. We'll dive into the real building blocks of physician resilience, using a fantastic study to see how some doctors don't just get by, they actually thrive. But first, let's get a sense of the scale of this challenge. In some studies, the rate of physician burnout has been reported as high as 80.5%. Just think about that for a second. That is a staggering number. It points to a real systemic crisis in healthcare, where in some places, the overwhelming majority of doctors are just struggling to keep going. And that leads to a really powerful question, one that inspired the researchers behind this work. If one physician is burning out, what's going on with the other four who are somehow managing to stay engaged and effective? What can we learn from them? And right there, that question shifts our whole focus away from the problem and onto the blueprint for a solution. Okay, so to really understand what those other four physicians are doing, we've got to get our definition of resilience straight. That common idea of just bouncing back. It's a little too simple for the kinds of challenges doctors face day in and day out. The research points to something much more dynamic. And here's the absolute key. Resilience isn't some fixed trait that you're either born with or you're not. It's an active, ongoing process of adaptation. It's a set of mindsets and skills that you can actually learn and practice, which is an incredibly hopeful idea, right? It's not about being bulletproof, it's about being adaptive. So what does this process actually look like from the inside? Well, the research zeroed in on a core set of internal qualities and mindsets that really form the foundation of physician resilience. Let's start by exploring that inner world. At the very heart of it all is tenacity. And this isn't just about being stubborn. It's a deep, profound determination that's fueled by a true sense of purpose. For these resilient doctors, that purpose is almost always connected to their patients and the meaning they find in that work. It's their why. It's what gets them out of bed in the morning. And this quote, it just says it all, doesn't it? This comes from a general practitioner, and it shows that this powerful drive comes from a place of real passion and calling. You can feel it. Despite all the insanity, all the challenges, this is where they know they're supposed to be. It's a powerful anchor in a storm. All right, the next piece of this internal mindset is control. Now, this isn't about controlling other people or situations. It's all about self-management. It's the absolutely crucial skill of knowing your own limits, setting healthy professional boundaries, and actively fighting for a sustainable work-life balance. This quote just gets right to the heart of it. A huge part of control is having crystal clarity about your responsibilities, and then being assertive enough to say no when things fall outside of that. It's about protecting yourself from overwork by drawing clear lines in the sand. And the third part of the mindset is growth. Resilient physicians have this amazing ability to reframe challenges. So instead of seeing a really tough case or a frustrating system issue as just a negative, they see it as a chance to learn something new, to get better, and to grow. I love this quote. It perfectly captures that proactive, can-do spirit. It's not about pretending problems don't exist. It's about facing a problem with this core belief that a solution is out there. That simple phrase, I can solve this, well, that's the engine of the growth mindset. Okay, so we've got the core mindset down: tenacity, control, and growth. But, a mindset is only as good as the actions it leads to. So let's look at the active toolkit of skills that resilient physicians are using to navigate their incredibly demanding jobs. The key word here is proactive. Resilient doctors don't just sit back and wait for stress to wash over them, they see it coming. They build up these adaptive strategies. Things like fiercely prioritizing their tasks, staying organized, and talking openly about problems to get ahead of challenges before they become totally overwhelming. The use of the word arrogant here is so interesting, right? It's not really about ego. It's about a deep, unshakable confidence in their own ability to solve problems. That belief is what fuels their coping skills. It lets them look a challenge square in the eye and think, yeah, I'm going to figure this out. The second essential skill is what's called reflective ability. This is basically the practice of hitting the pause button and consciously thinking about what's happening. It's what lets them learn from their mistakes, actually savor the good moments they might otherwise miss, and intentionally steer their own career. It's a powerful form of mental self-care. And this gives us a perfect practical script for what that reflection actually sounds like. These aren't just vague, fuzzy thoughts. They are specific, targeted questions. This kind of regular self-check-in keeps them on track and, crucially, gives them the power to make changes when things just aren't working. So we've talked about the inner world and the active toolkit, but the research is absolutely clear on one thing. No physician becomes resilient all by themselves in a vacuum. This final piece might just be the most important one of all, because it's about the world they live and work in. When you get right down to it, the study shows that individual resilience is built on a strong foundation of resources. And that means everything from a great team and a positive culture at work, all the way to supportive family and friends outside of the hospital. These external systems are what make individual resilience even possible. This model from the study just ties it all together beautifully. See how it works? You've got the doctor's inner qualities, their tenacity, their sense of control. Those are essential, but they just can't be sustained without those critical external resources, like good teamwork and personal support. The big insight here is that you can't have one without the other. And that brings us to what might be the single most important takeaway from all of this. If resilience depends so heavily on the environment and on external support, then building it can't just be the doctor's job. It has to be a shared responsibility. This table really shows the two sides of that coin. On the left, you've got the things doctors can do, like mindfulness or skills training. That's their part. But look at the right side. That's the organization's job. Things like reasonable hours, cutting down on needless paperwork, and providing real support. Real resilience only happens when both sides are pulling in the same direction. So, we've seen the blueprint. True physician resilience is built on three things: a powerful inner mindset, an active toolkit of skills, and, this is the big one, a supportive external environment. We ask so much of our doctors. We expect them to be resilient. But after looking at all this, the real question we have to ask ourselves is our healthcare system resilient enough to support them? And that's the challenge for all of us.